and welcome to this recruiting edition for your Sunday on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel powered by InsideTexas.com. I'm your host, Justin Wells. With me, as always, Coach Charlie Williams at Inside Texas. Hey, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. That camp was large in Austin yesterday, Charlie. We have a lot to touch on, but real quick, like the video, subscribe to Inside Texas Football YouTube channel. We are climbing to that 8,000 mark. Help us build out this community. We're having a great time doing it. Also, come see us at InsideTexas.com. The amount of information we posted yesterday should be against the law. Come see us. IT1 will get you 2 months of premium access for only $1. That is all through June, and that is all through July. That will get you right to the top of August football when it really, really gets serious. But let's just dive in. The Elite Camp. They do this every year, Charlie.
Yeah.
Always the first of June.
Mm-hmm.
They bring in usually some of the best juniors and sophomores,
Right.
guys that either have offers or could be potential offers.
Mhm.
And they also let them compete. They go out there on the field and they let them get after it. And, you know, sometimes kids with offers don't necessarily always want to compete.
Right.
Some of them do. And I think that's a big sign for these coaches, you know, when they see kids that are eager to get in line, even though they've got 20, 30 offers in their back pocket. It's usually a pretty good sign. But let's go ahead and get started. You know, kind of what was your, you know, overall impressions of a very, very hot, you know, it was hot outside.
Yeah.
That humidity was cooking, okay? But it was even hotter in the facility because Sark was running an offer machine in that office yesterday.
Yeah.
And so to me, my biggest takeaway was the amount of offers yesterday. What about you?
Yeah, I think I would say the exact same thing. I thought another great thing was the guys who do have offers out there competing because they're trying to get their place on the board. They're trying to either move up the board or confirm what the coaches thought they saw, right? You got
Exactly.
guys like John Turntine. He's there to see how Coach Flood coaches, right? He wants to get coached by this guy. And it's like, that's a great thing to see from those players. But the guys out there earning offers who wanted to come to Texas and earn that offer, man, I thought it was a great atmosphere, just great competition all across the board.
Man, you nailed it. Like guys that it's not just having an offer now at Texas. It's jumping up that spot. You want to get up that big board because even an offer, you if you waste your time, you may not even get that opportunity. And so that's a really good point. I think the biggest storylines, at least the at start, was the quarterbacks that showed up. You know, anytime you talk Texas and Steve Sarkisian right now, quarterback is the polarizing position, which it is in all of college football. But really at Texas, when you've got a Quinn Ewers, you got an Arch Manning, you got a Trey Owens. And so now people and a KJ Lacey committed in 2025. Now everybody wants to know who's next. Who's going to be the 2026 guy? And as soon as the 2026 guy comes in, you know what they're going to ask? Who's the 2027? They always want to know the next guy. Well, I think we may have seen the next guy potentially on Saturday. I'm going to talk a little bit about it. Dia Bell. It's a Fort Lauderdale kid, American heritage down there. Been playing varsity football since 8th grade. Obviously, his dad's well-known, longtime NBA player, Raja Bell. I always remember him and Kobe Bryant butting heads and then playoff games. It was always a really good matchup. But listen, man, Dia Bell can spin it. And you talk to a lot of recruits, and when you ask them, you know, who stood out at camp, what was the name you heard or a few of the names you heard the most?
Yeah, from a ton of receivers, we heard Dia Bell, throwing the ball to him like, this guy can give me the ball, and precise and accurate with it too. Not having been able to, work with him in the past or anything like that, just out there in the camp setting, like, man, this guy's on the money. So he was a name that was definitely mentioned, from the athletes and receivers out there.
You know, and there's a fun anecdote that I think people need to go to Inside Texas to see. Dia Bell really wanted to go to this camp. And you know how bad he wanted to go to this camp?
Oh, yeah, buddy.
He took an Uber from Dallas at midnight to arrive in Austin because the flight situation at the airport in Dallas had been so chaotic and everything was kept being delayed. Bell and his family thought they were going to miss this chance to camp. This is a kid with 30-plus offers, number 2 rated quarterback in the country, borderline 5-star, and he's worried about getting to Austin to camp, to just so he had the opportunity for Sark to see him in a live setting, with his boots on the ground. I got to catch up with Dia. The biggest takeaways for me were he talked to Coach Milwee and Coach Sark the most, obviously. They didn't talk a lot of football. They talked a lot about off the field. They talked a lot about life in general. And I think that's where Sark really is key in these relationships. because he's able to do that. He's able to compartmentalize certain things. Yeah, you want to talk ball, you want to get on the big board and
Yeah.
draw stuff up, but to get to know somebody, you gotta ask the other questions. You got to really dig deep. Dia Bell and those guys, tremendous. Raja put out a tweet this morning just thanking the staff and everybody at Texas for their hospitality and just everything they did for him. Dia told me he might be getting close to a decision. He's noticing yesterday 2 quarterbacks came off the board. Noah Grubbs committed to Notre Dame. Will Griffin, who you know out of Tampa,
Yeah.
committed to Florida.
Right.
So he's noticing. He said that, and that's what he told me. He's like, man, I'm noticing guys are starting to grab their spot. And he actually said, quote, I may not have as much time as you think I do. And that really rang true.
Yeah.
He wants to get home. He wants to kind of get settled in. He's still going to take a few more trips. He's going to see a few more camps. LSU's on the docket, Ohio State, and even Florida State. So this thing it's still going in motion. But I think Dia Bell was the biggest takeaway there, just because of how well he performed, the way he got to campus, and just his attitude when he left. Because he didn't talk to any of the reporters. He actually went straight to the hotel from the pool party. I got to catch up with him before I left Austin, and then you had Troy Hune, who's the other guy, and a tremendous quarterback prospect out of Mission Hills, California. Big arm, big Texas fan. He has made his way to Austin on many occasions. This kid is a take. Troy Hune, any team would be happy to have Troy Hune in his class. I think that was also big as well, and I think both those guys kind of want to figure out who's that quarterback take going to be. And I don't know if we got the answer, but I think we got some direction. And I think Texas would be happy with either one. But I'm starting to get a vibe that Dia Bell might be the preference.
Right.
And you still have to consider if it's going to be a 2 quarterback class in 2026 because of Lacey. If he signs, it gives you 3 scholarship quarterbacks next year. If he doesn't, you may have to go to the portal. So 2026 quarterbacks become a big deal. 2 2027s got offered. Peyton Houston out of Evangel Christian in Shreveport, and Brady Edmonds, big 6'5", 215-pounder signal caller, also offered. So quarterbacks always kind of dominate that. They always kind of dominate the storyline, but especially at Texas. What was you got to see some of those guys. You got to meet a handful of those guys. What was your biggest takeaway just overall with those guys?
Yeah, the biggest thing is something you mentioned, Sark getting to know, not talk ball with them, right? He was trying to find a makeup, and the quarterback is the leader. You got to know everything about that kid on and off the field. So that's the biggest takeaway. This staff is doing an amazing job. I want to just say that. They're doing an amazing job with these kids and these recruits, man, how they're recruiting. Like you said, talking ball, but talking off the field stuff. But I was really impressed about the guys just talking about how the coaches coached them, right? They were coached them like they were one of their own. And a couple of players say, hey, this felt like home, or I enjoyed getting coached hard. Like, you love to hear that from kids. And so that was something that really, really stood out. And then the parents saying, hey, this is top notch. This was a top notch camp. I felt like my kid actually got better and got coached up being here. And that's something you usually don't hear. You usually hear people complain about, oh, it's hot, I didn't get many reps. These guys like, no, the reps I got were quality reps. This staff had an amazing camp from top to bottom. And that's something you love to hear.
Absolutely. You know who else puts on a good show, that does a good job? Andre the Lawyer. That man, if you're ever in trouble, that's the guy you got to call. You hate being in that position, but if you are, Andre the Lawyer is there. He's going to be there. He's the elite camp lawyer of us. We love him. He's located in Dallas, Texas. He helps all injured Longhorns, car wrecks, slip and falls, 18-wheelers, on-the-job accidents, wrongful deaths. Andre is a proud Inside Texas reader. He is a big fan. We love what he does, and he helps so many people when they in their most weakest time of need. Andre the Lawyer's the guy. Give him a call at 214-444-8808. That's 214-444-8808. I had the scoop on the big quarterback in Dia Bell. Our man Eric Nahlin in Inside Texas had some good scoop on Troy Hune. But you had the 5-star. You had the number 8 overall prospect in the class of 2026, offensive tackle out of North Crowley, John Turntine. I watched him come in. Is it me, or does he look bigger and better every time he gets on campus?
Definitely does. Every time I see him, I saw him at his high school just a few weeks ago, and it's like he got bigger just in a few weeks. But just talking to him, and I got actually a chance to talk to his dad as well, just kind of talk about the camp and what he thought about it. He enjoyed the entire camp. He loved getting coached by Coach Flood. He wanted to come here for this reason, to learn, see how Coach Flood coaches hands-on and teach him through drills and everything else. And he loved this experience, right? He loved seeing all the other coaches just compete and have energy. Instead of reminding him of his high school and just how everybody's energetic, everybody's trying to improve and get everybody better. And that's somewhere he he wants to be around. And then talking to his dad, who was also a former college offensive lineman, talked about Texas, and he knows what it looks like. Talked about Texas being a championship quality team, and the way they practice, the way they get after it. Like that's somewhere he would love his son to be. He feels comfortable taking his son to and say, "Hey, you got him for the next 3 to 4 years," and he'll feel just fine with that. So hearing that from a dad, and then hearing it from the player himself, man, it doesn't get any better than that.
That's it. That's it. And you've done a tremendous job. I want people at Inside Texas and our viewers to know Charlie has been tremendous in that recruitment, and he's going to be the point man on John Turntine, the number one prospect in the state of Texas. Another big guy in the Metroplex area, out of the powerhouse in DFW, Duncanville's 2026 Edge, Kevin Ford, Mr. KJ. Listen, every time I see him, he's a little bigger. I saw him in Houston for the California Power 5-on-5. I said, man, you growing? He said, yeah, I'm about 235 now. Dang, okay. Saw him again on Saturday. You look a little bigger. He's like, yeah, I'm 242 now. So he is growing and he is maturing. This is a guy that's got 25 plus offers. Obviously, Texas is in the mix. The thing that stood out to me about Kevin Ford, he got down in the camp and competed. He strapped his shoes on and got down there and got to talk to PK a lot, and even met and Coach Baker and those guys. And so I think Kevin Ford, I think that's going to be a top 50, top 75 overall prospect in the class of 2026 when it's all said and done. I think Texas is in a good spot, but I think this recruitment is long from over. He's going to be at Texas A&M in a couple of weeks. He's supposed to hit Oklahoma, I believe, on the 13th. And so he's going to keep taking his trips and seeing what he's doing. But he definitely recognizes that pipeline from Duncanville to Austin. And Kevin Ford just keeps looking better and better. And you actually got to see one of his teammates that's going to maybe play on the opposite side in Landon Barnes. What was your impressions of Landon? And we'll actually, you know what, we'll get to him because we've got a little segment for Charlie on guys to watch. So we'll pivot to Landon Ford on that. I do want to ship to all the offers.
Right.
I mean, it was an offer fest yesterday.
Was.
And you know what? A lot of those kids deserved offers, I feel like. I think a lot of them came there with that expectation. Charlie, give me a few guys just off the top of your head that you liked that were offered, guys that stood out to you and why Texas fans need to know them.
Yeah, I'll start with 2027 offensive lineman Brian Swans from South Oak Cliff, who actually trains with Zach Collins, who also trains DJ Campbell, right? And you kind of saw him and Katavius Tisby take a picture with DJ Campbell because they all have the exact same trainer.
Yeah.
Just a cool note on that, during the one-on-one, somebody blocked Zach. Somebody ran into Zach, and Coach Flood said, hey, nobody hear him. No, that's the closer, right? And Zach also trains Devin and Jordan Coleman, who just committed to Texas. So, that's a great connection, right? And so to see that, the relationship between him and Coach Flood is amazing. But I'll mention Jamarian Carlton from Temple, defensive end. Man, a long kid. Like the pipeline from Temple's, like you got Davion Curtis, who played at Texas, actually coaches at Temple now. You have Taquan Graham and Jamarian wears his number 11 in high school. So you got that relationship there. So it was good to just kind of see him get an offer. You got Felix Ojo, 2027 offensive lineman from Mansfield Lake Ridge. A big kid. I mean, 6'7". Yeah, big kid. I mean, amazing. He came here to earn this offer, right? And he talked about that before he even got here. He wanted to come earn an offer, and he did just that. You got Mike Brown now, Legacy School in Houston. A kid who still has a 512 number, from Austin. He's a big fan of Texas, and he came here for the specific reason to get an offer, right? He was able to show his skill set and what he could do. He trains with another guy, Deshae Milburn, who trains a ton of receivers in the DFW in Houston area, man. And Mike came out there and earned his offer, and then you got Mari Vickerson, whose dad played for the Broncos, and he was a defensive line coach at Michigan State. Big defensive lineman. So it was good to see that, we're getting on these guys early for the defensive line, right, for 2026 and 2027. But just, man, overall, there's so many other guys I'm probably missing. But a ton of kids got offered yesterday, came out there and just competed. And see the parents actually are happy, like, hey, my son came out here and earned this offer. And I'm proud of it. And those kids felt like they were not given anything. They actually earned it. And so that's exactly what you want.
We have a ton of offers like we were talking about. So you've got to go to InsideTexas.com for the entire list. Our man Eric put a post up last night kind of going through each one of them. Two guys that I saw that I liked that got offered. One is a kid I've known for years, and I was really excited he got that offer. And the other was one this is a new name for me. Started watching some tape, and this is a big time possession receiver type. The guy that I love that I've seen for years is Jamarian Vincent. He's an athlete out of Waco Conley. I started going to Conley like 3 years ago to see Jelani McDonald. And then they said, hey, Kobe Black's going to be the next one. So I kept coming back, and I saw Kobe Black. And then Kobe told me, okay, hey, Jamarian Vincent's going to be the next one. He pulled out 8 offers on Friday during a mega camp up at SMU or TCU. I can't remember which one he hit. He comes to Austin, competes. He told me when he left, he was so thrilled that he got an offer. He felt like he earned it, deserved it. They view him as a safety. He's going to play quarterback for Conley, similar to what Jelani McDonald did. And they also view him as a safety, similar to what Jelani's doing right now. But I absolutely love that offer because he is a plus athlete. He's a 3-sport kid, really good in basketball. Quentin Snell does a great job with that basketball program at Conley. Terry Garrett does a great job with the football program, and he's also a track kid as well. Those Conley kids are just tough, rugged kids. I don't think you can have too much of them. And then Jordan Clay, the San Antonio Madison kid, I'll admit I was not as familiar with him as other guys. And from talking to people after the camp, they said it was him, Chris Stewart, and Mike Brown. Those were the 3 receivers that really separated themselves and did a tremendous job. And so I was happy to see Jordan Clay get that offer and start to build that relationship and get a little bit closer with him. Can you give me a couple guys to watch for offers? Because, again, there were a lot of 2027s. And sometimes a 27 might get a little discouraged if he didn't get an offer. But they have to be reminded it is super early. Mm-hmm. And that if Texas is still bringing you in as a freshman going into your sophomore year, you're on the board. They're watching you. And when they tell you we're going to keep evaluating you and come see you at your school, that's exactly what they do. Yeah. And so give me a couple guys that maybe should be, I wouldn't necessarily say on offer watch, but you feel like down the road could definitely be an offer for Texas.
Yeah. A guy we kind of mentioned briefly is Landon Barnes. I saw him in January at Next Level Athlete Camp, and I was like, man, Duncanville has another edge who can go, right? He's a young guy. Maybe has to get a little bigger, but, man, I think next on the other side of Kevin Fordman, they're going to bring it and bring havoc in everybody's backfield this upcoming season. He's just a big, quick, twitchy edge. And then another guy, Jason Bradford, a 6'2" corner out of Temple. Now, yesterday.
He's 6'2"? He looks like he's 6'5".
Yeah, he's long. But the thing about it, he has good feet and good hips. Now, yesterday, he had a great day.
He did.
I thought he would come away with an offer yesterday. He pretty much locked down everybody went against him one-on-ones. But I think it's somebody probably continue to evaluate and look at. But down the line, I can see him maybe getting an offer. But he's a great athlete, tremendous kid at 6'2", playing corner.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big fan of Bradford as well. I actually reached out to him last night. I said, man, I heard a lot of great things. Can't wait to come see you again. I know the guys at Temple do a great job with that program. Like you said earlier, Jamarian Charlton pulling that offer. Guys that I'd like to see potentially offered. There's a 2027 offensive tackle that was there from Texas High named Quay Ford. And he was there with teammate 2026 tailback, 4-star Tredarian Ball, who is probably the heaviest Texas lean of the bunch right now. He's tremendous. And at 200 pounds, he broke off a 10.48 in track this spring. And so Michigan called him last week with an offer. So he's already blown up. But Quay Ford's going to be the guy blocking for him. And that's the guy. He's about 6'5", I want to say about 270, 265, 270. Looks great. I mean, often you hear guys say, hey, I know a kid, he's 310, 315, 325 as a freshman and as a sophomore. And I cringe a little bit. You don't want to be that big that quick. Quay Ford is how big you want those freshmen and sophomores to look when they come in. Oregon, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Tennessee have all offered. They've all jumped in the boat for Ford. His offer, he's going to have 30 offers by the time he's a senior. And the good thing about him is I had talked to him a little bit after the camp about, a potential offer. And he admitted, this was the very first time he had ever been to Texas. First time he had competed on that type of stage against those other guys. And he didn't expect an offer. He just wanted to be there for the experience. And to me, that's a very level-headed freshman. That's a guy that's not going to get too high or too low. He's going to be a guy that you can count on that's going to continue to work. Jerry Sanford does an amazing job. Also, Duncan McGee, they had a defensive tackle for 2026 at T-High come on board as well. We know that Kenny Baker, he's got his eye. So that's somebody to watch as well. But that's an offer I think you could see down the road in Quay Ford. And the DB, Dontre Jackson from DFW, the 2027 corner, he'll get an offer either tomorrow or in 6 months. That's a walking offer. That kid is a legit 6'1.5", 6'2" corner who already has the fluidity in his hips at such a young age. I think that's another the guy that you could probably watch going down the road. Any final takeaways, my man, besides the fact that we almost had heat strokes, that we basically melted? I lost like 9 pounds yesterday. I had to hydrate on the way back. It was a long drive back. But what's your biggest takeaway from Saturday on the 40 acres?
I would say the biggest thing is Texas is at a place to where you invite recruits who have offers to actually come make it a committable offer, so to speak. That's a change in your program where usually kids would just, they would tell you, I'm not coming to camp, I have an offer. But now you're at the place where you can tell kids, hey, we gave you an offer, we're dating you, but if you want to get married, I need you to come compete at camp. And if you're at that place of the program, in your program, man, that just says a lot of great things. So that's my biggest takeaway from this entire thing.
Man, Charlie, I had a takeaway, but it's not as good as that. You just killed it, man. You carried this show today. The viewers, they should be thankful in the comments because Charlie Williams brought his A game. That's why we call him coach, because he knows what he's doing. Come see us at InsideTexas.com. IT1 will get you 2 months for only $1. That's all of June. And buddy, players report today. They're going to be on the field working out tomorrow. We'll have that team inside info. Official visit season in June. It's big. This entire month is going to be one long marathon, so to speak. So be sure and tune into that. Come see us at InsideTexas.com. Like I said, IT1 gets you 2 months of premium access for only $1. And please like this video and subscribe to the Inside Texas YouTube channel. Hit that button. Every time we come up with a show or a live stream, you'll get notified. You'll get to hang out with us. We always enjoy it. And thank you to the viewers for making us a part of our day. And come see us again. And thank you at InsideTexas.com, brought to you by the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel.